In less than a week, Fort Wayne City Council will vote on a riverfront development study contract. The cost, $500,000 of legacy money. The group has released several initial images, but say these don't portray exactly what the project will look like. Leaders with the group hope to highlight downtown riverfront properties and focus on entertainment, water quality, wildlife, and reducing flood risks. They say the study could take 12 to 18 months to complete.
But there is a potential threat to riverfront development surfacing downtown. In one spot, coal tar buried underground is slowly seeping oil into the St. Mary's River. In a 15 Finds Out special report, News Channel 15's Adam Widener investigates the problem and what it means for big plans for riverfront development.
First off, there are major efforts underway to clean up that oily problem. I'm told the leaking has slowed and that this really isn't a big environmental problem. That being said, its negative effects could be farther reaching, all because of the way you may look at it. It's a typical night at the Deck, the outdoor restaurant connected with Hall's Gas House.
It's obviously our favorite place to come in the summertime. We're down here easily at least once a week, sometimes twice.
Folks like Kathy Wilson travel from as far as Ohio for a one-of-a-kind Fort Wayne experience. You see, currently the Gas House has a monopoly on downtown riverfront dining.
We wanted to be outside and we wanted to be on the river, so that's why we came here.
But within that view, there's an asterisk to the beauty.
The first thing that I did when I came here was smell to see if I smelled anything that smelled funky.
The problem began in the late early 1900s. The Indiana Lighting Company, located downtown, manufactured gas used to light street lamps. The plant eventually closed, and in 1955, it became the historic Don Hall's Gas House. That was a time of limited environmental regulations. See, the old plant left behind large tanks full of gas underground. Over time, those have broken down and leaked a byproduct called coal tar into not just the soil.
And it actually started to find its way into the river.
That was NIPSCO in 2009. Its parent company left behind the mess, which means the gas company is responsible for it.
We, entered into an agreement voluntarily to do something about it.
In 2009, crews removed some tanks under the Hall's parking lot, solidifying soil with cement and laying down mats on the riverbed to soak up the coal tar. At the time, here's what NIPSCO said about the experimental efforts.
Between the removal and the solidification of the soil, any remaining coal tar in the site is not going anywhere.
But today, you can still see an oily sheen. What gives? 15 Finds Out asked. NIPSCO says the mats are working. Still, the coal tar has moved into the sand and found a different way into the river.
When we put the mats out there to kind of cap off the area, we didn't cover the entire area. It was very much a test situation.
The Indiana Department of Environmental Management oversees the project. Leaders there think the oil in this section of the river is an isolated problem with sort of a Band-Aid over it. See, we've uncovered that NIPSCO will eventually have to find a long-term solution to this oily problem. And despite the small environmental impact, some think that the way this looks could deter development.
If someone's mindset and attitude is dirty rivers, then this is just purely going to reinforce it.
Dan Wire knows Fort Wayne rivers as good as anyone. He's the executive director of the Tri-State Watershed Alliance. Wire agrees the oil is a minor issue when it comes to water quality, but that's not the only factor that comes into play.
Public perception is probably our biggest hurdle to overcome. It will reinforce some misconceptions that some individuals have. Yes, see, there you go. There's that river. There's that dirty oil-laden river. This isn't the rivers. It's a very small isolated area that's connected directly to a manufacturing activity at that area. Will people seeing the oil sheen deter their interest in riverfront development? That's a good question.
Back at the Deck, it would seem answers to that question are unanimous.
It's not as big of an issue as it was a couple of years ago before they did the initial remediation on the parking lot. There's no odor, there's nothing to really detract from, the using of the rivers. The more they can enhance the rivers to make them user-friendly and available, I'm all for it.
Now, the state's environmental agency says this pocket of oil is one of dozens they're trying to get rid of across Indiana. The one near the deck is one of the most noticeable. Make sure you head to Wayne.com. There we've put a northeast Indiana map of similar deposits of coal tar. Now that you've heard the problem, what about that $500,000 study? Tune in tomorrow as I talk opportunities and challenges with both the city and the man behind downtown's riverfront dining monopoly. Live in Studio 15, Adam Widener, News Channel 15.